What's up, guys? So today I'm going to do my cloning video. I'm going to show you how I clone. Probably not how everybody clones, but I'm going to show you what I do. Now I'm going to start off with how I start my clones. Usually I'll cut them, whether it be a lime, a rose, elderberry, some tomatoes, whatever it is. I'll just cut them and sit them in water. So as you can see, these, I cut these oranges from a neighboring tree, and all I did was chop it at a 45, somewhat of a 45, take everything off of it. I leave 2 leaves on top, and then later on when I'm ready, I'll go ahead and pot it up. I have these limes, kumquats, and roses that I did in February, but before that I ended up doing this elderberry on accident. And if you follow me on Instagram, you can see that it was like a 2-3 inch piece that broke off while I was transporting it when I bought it originally in January. So I wanted to see if I could learn how to clone, and I was told that elderberry grows really fast by itself. It doesn't really need any help. I didn't use any powders or any cloning, anything, have any gels, none of that stuff. All I did was take the clone, or take the stem or the cutting or whatever you want to call it, stick it in dirt. And what I originally did with this one, and you see on my Instagram, is that I bagged it up just like this, and I made sure it had water and created a humid environment so that it doesn't dry out. And that was done January 12th. We are now on March 28th, and you see how well it's doing. So I already had potted up. It was in a 2-inch pot with a small bag. Now once the roots started showing on the bottom, I ended up potting it up, and this is what I got from my elderberry. Hopefully within the next month, I'll be able to plant it in the yard somewhere as soon as I find a spot for it. Nothing special. It was cut just like these. It was thrown in water once I found out it was broken, and then prepared the soil and put a bag over it, and then put it aside in a shady area where it doesn't get direct sunlight. So I had it like that, and right now it's currently where you can get it gets a little bit of sunlight in the shade, because it's growing now. It has roots. I know it's not going to die out on me, so that one's doing good. Next, few days later, I wanted to go ahead and give it a try with the lime trees that we have. We have several lime trees on our property, and a few that the neighbors have, and I wanted to see if I can do the same thing with those. So what I did was I took some cuttings off the trees that we have. I ended up getting these 9 cuttings, and I did the same thing. I cut them, put them in water. With the only differences on these, I did do cloning powder. I'm not gonna link what it is. They're all the same. All the places that I go to say they're all the same. They all have the basic same hormone. Some have chemicals or whatever in it to keep the soil from rotting out, or the roots from rotting out, or the plant cutting from rotting out. But this is just whatever. I grabbed whatever I got that was cheap from Walmart, and I went ahead and I used that. So all I do was same thing. It was sitting in water for a day. The next day, cut it in 45, prepared these small little pots, put it in, and as you can see on some of these, I now have, they've been sitting here since February 12th, something like that, and they're starting to give flowers. Like this one has a little flower, and I wish I had more flowers on here to show you. On my last video, I'm redoing this one, but you can see the little flowers here. I do not want flowers on mine until I see roots on the bottom, which these do not have any roots on the bottom. So I mean, they're not dead yet. They're in a humid environment, but I don't want flowers because that's not going to allow it to allow roots to grow. So I'll go ahead and pull off any flowers that do show up, which I've had that happen already a couple of times. The flowers keeps want to produce flowers. It wants to give me fruit too early. So that was that. Like I said, nothing special. My dirt isn't anything special, just regular potting soil, or mixed in with some of my natural dirt that's here, the regular dirt in the ground. Next I have these kumquat clones down here, and these were done February 9th, and I had 15 of them in here. And you can see that there isn't 15, currently there's 9 left, but even out of those 9, I could see that I have some dead ones. Nothing special here. This is completely dead. There's a little, maybe half an inch of green left. That's no good. I'm gonna just go ahead and toss that out. So these, no cloning powder, no nothing. It's just regular potting soil you get from your big box. And same process. Cut it, leave it in water for, I think I left these in water for 24 hours. I didn't want to do it sooner, and I didn't want to wait too long. But as you can see on this one, you do have a little branch that's starting to grow, so it's showing me that this one is alive. But I still do not have any roots coming out of the bottom, as you can see. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave these alone until they start showing me that there is some sort of roots on the bottom. Here's another one, no roots on the bottom. So I'll just go ahead and leave these alone, put them back. These are under, this one is on a south facing window. No lights, no nothing. It's just on a south facing window, so whatever light it gets, it might get maybe 2 hours of light at that window, and then that's it. Next I have my hydrangeas. These are blue hydrangeas, came from my mother's house. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 of them. Same thing, same process. Put them in. I put these in rainwater. It was a rainy day when we came. It was Friday the 13th here in Southern California. It was raining that day, and as you can see, they all look very, very pretty. They haven't wilted. If you know hydrangeas, you know if they don't have enough water, especially because they're really, it's really soft wood here, they would just wilt right away. These have not. So all I did was clean it up. It had so many leaves on this. Took all the leaves off and put it here. Same thing here. As you can see, it didn't wilt. Very, very strong. Now I'm just waiting for some roots on the bottom, which it does not have also. No powder, no cloning gel, no nothing. It looks like I do have a volunteer lemon right here, because I do repurpose my dirt. That must have been a lemon seed. I hope so. And I also have an avocado here that does bear fruit. I guess this one, if it does take, and it looks like it is, it looks very, very pretty. The leaves have opened up. It's got more leaves than what it originally had, but I cleaned off everything. It didn't have sprouts. It does have little sprouts coming off of it now. As soon as it shows me it's alive and that there's roots growing, I'll go ahead and repot that up. And that one I might have to wait 2 years before it starts giving me fruit. That's better than using a seed, because if you grow from seed, it could take up to 10 years, 15 years, depending on the condition that you have them in. So these are on lights. All these are on lights. They're on a 16-hour on, 8 hours off. And here's another hydrangea. They were cut the same as that. The only difference is the bag method. All it is dirt. I watered it, popped it in. Same thing, same process. They were cut, clean, took all the leaves off. I only left the top two, and it has not died. You can see, I can pull off the bag and show you. The bag is just so it creates a humid environment and it doesn't dry out the leaves, but everything seems to be looking good. I have 2 of them in here, and I might end up cutting this off because it won't need that much. I just want it to grow on one side. And once it's ready, I'll go ahead and separate them. Put them in their own little pots, put them back under the grow lights. Once they show me they got roots, or maybe in a month or so, I'll go ahead and do a little tug test, pull on the stem, and if it has a little bit of resistance, that shows me that they might have some roots. I'll go ahead and separate them then. Right, here's a rose. This one was also done February 12th, around that time. It did just recently wake up. It is May 28th. So you see how long it takes for them. I did make March 28th, my bad. March 28th. 5 of them woke up just like this one. They have new leaves on them. Hopefully they grow. This is a yellow climbing rose. It's very fragrant. That's why I went ahead and cloned this one. So took a cutting, cut it at 45. I put it in a bucket of rainwater overnight. The next day, after I prepared the dirt, potted it up, no special powders, no nothing, right? Then I have this tomato that I did last week. I planted a tomato in the ground. It needed to go in the ground because it was getting too big for its pot. The pot was drying out too fast. So I like to clean up my tomatoes and make sure it only has 1 stem. Although this is a Roma tomato, you don't really need to do that. I went ahead and did it anyways. It cleaned it so that way these stems aren't touching the ground. So I took these 3 little stems off last week, put them in dirt, nothing special. Tomatoes will actually root in water, tap water, whatever. Just, you know, you put it in water and wait till it starts rooting, then go ahead and plant it if you want to do it that way, or do it like I did, just to give it a try. And I know these will take. Then I'll have 3 new plants off of the one that I got. And lastly, I got some yerba buena, some mint, and these were just pieces that overgrew in my garden. These all have pieces of root on the bottom. All I did was I cut them. They're in water. I'm not gonna put no rooting hormone, no nothing special to these. Even though they're wilting, I know they'll take. These are resilient also, so I'm gonna prepare the dirt later on today. Put them in the shade, and I know they'll take. You know, the mint grows really good. It won't die out, and that's all I got. You know, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you don't like the way I do something, you have advice for me, go ahead and leave it in the comments. I don't mind. I take criticism very well. I am Yuri, back to Rootstead. Like, share, subscribe.